In Broken Arrow, the crazy storm in the middle of the night, within the district, it picked up a trailer, threw it. It was crazy warnings going off on my phone. So tornadoes were probably some of the craziest. I think in all of my areas, I had some kind of like tornado encounter or experience. And so that's pretty much as extreme as it can get. So we actually requested Squirrel. This was in Kansas, and one of the members was like, hey, what do you want us to make for you tonight? And we're like, Squirrel. And they're like, okay. So I guess that Sunday, the husband, he wasn't a member, his wife was just like, hey, the missionaries want squirrel. So he just went and popped 2 squirrels, and they put it in the slow cooker before church. And then when we went, it was delicious. It was good. Probably one of the best things I had was deer enchiladas with fried egg on top. It was like red enchiladas. It was fantastic. Most barbecue you're going to find there's a stuff called Head Country barbecue sauce. Anything, whether it's meat or just anything in the world, you could put Head Country barbecue sauce on it and it will become amazing. So I guess everything, as long as it has Head Country on it. And so I was tracking one time, saw an armadillo, and like walked up to it and kind of like nudged it with my foot. And then it like looked up at me and I guess flipped out and like ran, but I guess they're like blind or something. And so it just ran into this like railroad tie and then just kind of climbed over, ran away. That was really like most of the experience I had with wildlife there. Really, it was an armadillo. I'd never seen one. It was super cool for me. So the bugs there are like huge. They have these things called cicadas there. So they're probably like that big. And so they have them based on these cycles of these reproduction cycles where it's like you have certain species which they hatch every year, certain species which hatch every 5 years, and then certain species which hatch every 7 years. And they're all big and really loud. They can fly, and so that makes it super scary. My first summer there, it happened to coincide with like obviously the 1 year and then the 5 year, and so there was just an inordinate amount of cicadas everywhere. Just all day, all night, just they're buzzing all the time. And then if we'd be teaching someone outside, we'd sometimes have cicadas like flying and like hit us, and you don't want to step on it because it's like, I don't know, it's gross to step on them because they're so big. They have brown recluse spiders there. A lot of people mistake wood spiders for them. You can always know them because if you look on their back, it looks like a violin. They call it the fiddle on the back. So as long as it has the fiddle, don't let it bite you because their venom actually like makes your skin start to decay. It's not just like a poison, but it will like eat your skin unless you get anti-venom. So I found one in the apartment, so I like took some clear tape and double-sided it and like picked it up with a pair of scissors, so I could look at it. I think they're super cool. So yeah, lots of bugs, spiders, and they're all really big because it rains there a lot. Everything is like super. Oh, I guess that's one thing. I know it's not animals, but you probably factored in somewhere. But like, I've never been any place that was so like green. And I've been a lot of places around the world, and they may have a lot of plants, but this place you look out kind of at that late spring, early summer, and everything is just this rich, lush, super dark green. And it was just the coolest, especially in contrast with like the blue sky. I got out there and I'm like, this place is incredible. It was so beautiful there. Some of the craziest stuff I saw happen was like in reference to missionaries I was living with, like getting in fights and stuff. Like we had to break up a few fist fights, and that was always entertaining. We moved into a new apartment just because the place where we were living before, there was a drug dealer there, and he had his red light outside, and so we'd be sitting there in the apartment, and we'd see cars drive up. He'd run out with like a brown paper bag and throw stuff in, and then he'd run back up. They'd drive away really quickly. So we're like, we should probably move. So we moved, and this place, we like met our neighbors. They were super nice. It was a great apartment. We even had a garage. It was like a 3-story townhome with like garage, living room, kitchen, and then bedrooms. But then it was it was right after I got transferred out. My old companion and the missionary who got transferred in, they talked about this lady and her husband got in this fight, and it got really loud. And I guess she had tried to stab her husband, and so he like ran out, and they were arguing and stuff. She got in the car and tried running him over, and so he like jumped in bushes and like climbed through and he got out to the other side. But instead of stopping, she like pulled out and drove around and she like hunted him down to try and run him over. And they like called us, freaking out. They're just like, guys, this lady is trying to kill this guy. She tried like stabbing him earlier or something like that. Like, I can't remember exactly how the story went, but that was pretty much the main gist of it. Wife trying to kill her husband, and the missionaries were there. I feel like that was something they probably could have stepped in, like talked about the importance of families or something like that. But yeah, I kind of wish I had been there for that. It was a good time. It was one day I was like really sick, and the missionaries, because we were covering one ward, and the missionaries we were living with were covering another ward, and I won't say what area it was, but they came to us like, hey, we have dinner with this family tonight, and they're really like, they kind of scare us, and is it cool if you guys come with us? And we're like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And so we go over there, and it was weird. Like, I walk up, and I wanted to let the mom know that despite the fact she was cooking something, I probably wasn't going to be eating it because I'm feeling really sick. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not feeling too well, and I'm not going to eat it. I hope that's okay. I'll probably have a bite or two. She's like, oh, that's fine. I know that you were meant to come here because Jesus wanted you to be here tonight, because I have a message that I need to share with you missionaries so that you can bring the people to church on December 2nd. And I'm like, well, okay, here we go. So it was like we go through dinner, didn't eat a lot, and at this point I was just more nervous about what was going to happen. And so we start going through, and like we start doing the spiritual thought, and at the end of it, we start talking to to her kids about you can do your scripture study, and we would advise, like, if you plan on going on a mission, study how to preach my gospel. And we said that to the daughter, and the mom's like, oh no, it's okay, like I already have like a study thing for her. She's studying about why she sees dead people. And we're like, okay, that's cool. That's a thing, I guess. And so then she like shooed her kids out. And then she started telling us about how like one day she was overcome by the Spirit and like had to go lay down in bed. And she started receiving all these revelations about all the bad things that people had done in the ward, about like her ward and the other ward. And she's like, I need you to go out and go tracting so that you can bring all your investigators to church on the last fast and testimony meeting of the year, where I will share my revelations and visions, and I will tell everyone how they've been caught in their dishonesty. And so we actually had this new convert with us too. He was a youth, and he was trying so hard not to crack up. So we, after that, we're just like, okay, yeah, cool, okay, we have to go, we have to leave, because we have appointments and stuff. As we're driving back, we called the bishop, new bishop, and told him, and he was just like, no, why did this have to happen? So he talked to her and told her, hey, December 2nd, don't do that. And so instead, she took it upon herself to go to the houses of some of these members and tell them about how they're doing their callings wrong and how they've been caught in a lie because of her visions and revelations. So they eventually had to call the police on her. You probably want more short sleeve shirts, just because in the summer, if you're in a bike area, you're probably going to sweat enough that you will want to shower and change your shirt in the middle of the day. No joke, just crazy amounts of sweat. If not, then Also church pants as well, like bring machine washable church pants, because if not, like you're gonna get just sweat, like the salt lines everywhere. Like it really gets so hot and humid there that you want to make sure to be able to have replacement clothes. I guess along that same vein, bring handkerchiefs as well, or like a small towel, so that when you get to an appointment, you're not like actually dripping sweat. You could like wipe off, because I had that happen to me, and that's why I decided to buy handkerchiefs after that. So